Manchester United almost securing the top four now, 9 points clear of fifth place with just 18 to play for them. A game in hand as well over Tottenham Hotspur, who kick off in 20 minutes' time against Liverpool. A big win for Newcastle today as well after being 1-0 down at halftime. And Haaland hits goal number 50. Number 50 for the season in all comps. The first time since 1931. And City go top of the Premier League for only the 15th day of the season so far. They are taking their stranglehold on this. Remember, you can enter our raffle now for two tickets for the FA Cup final, the Manchester Derby final, and £250 spending money courtesy of me by clicking on the link in our description or scanning the QR code on the screen now. Panel joining us very, very soon as well. But I'm asking the question, is top four done for Man United and Newcastle United? You look at the table there. I'm looking at it at the same time as you. United on 63, Newcastle 65. United have got a game in hand over Tottenham and Newcastle. That is Brighton on Thursday, by the way. Let's just say we lose that. Let's play devil's advocate and say we lose it. 9 points clear of Tottenham as it stands. They may beat Liverpool. Maybe Liverpool beat them today. I'm hoping for a bit of a draw in that game, if I'm being honest. But it's almost done in many people's eyes. But what do you think? A couple more wins needed, most certainly, you would say, for Manchester United. But it's almost done in this overachieving first season for Erik ten Hag. And I have to say about Newcastle, they look good. They look too good right now to miss out on the top four. They look far too good to miss out on the top four as it stands right now. Far too good, in my opinion. They're 1-0. I wasn't watching their game, to be fair. I was keeping up to date. I saw them 1-0 down. I thought, how are they responding in the second half? And they responded magnificently. You cannot get away from that. And their performances this year, very much like Man United, Arsenal as well, just exceeding the expectations that most people put upon them this year. In relation to Manchester United today, look, I was happy with the response to dropping 2 points. Very happy with the win. Another brilliant performance from Bruno Fernandes. Again, being moved out to the right-hand side because Anthony was being rested. And the manager, of course, who does he trust? He's captain. Forget Maguire. Bruno's the captain. Go out onto the right. See what job you can do for us. Winning the game with his goal. Great desire. Great play from him. I also thought Lindelof today at centre-back was absolutely sensational. And someone tweeted this, and I don't know who tweeted it. I saw it on my timeline. I don't want to plagiarize and pretend. A lot of content creators, they see other people's tweets, and they're good tweets, and they read it, and they say them like they're their own thoughts. I don't tend to do that. It's weird. Not a manly thing to do. Anyway, I digress. But I think it's a little bit wrong to associate Victor Lindelof so closely with Maguire, because he's a level above the guy. I'm not saying Lindelof is world class, but he's much better than Harry Maguire. There's no doubt. He plays out well from the back. A very good block today from a shot late in the game. There was a wonderful header early in the second half that takes it off of Ollie Watkins' head. Very good performance from him today. There's no doubt about it. I thought Casemiro, who has been very much maligned in recent games, was back to his best defensively, breaking up play. He is looking leggy. He is looking tired, there's no doubt, but much better performance from him. And look, Sancho was an interesting one. I was happy with so many elements of his game today, barring his attacking. There was one good bit of play on the right-hand side, fairly close to when he came off, where he puts Eriksen through, and Eriksen messed up the final pass to Sabitzer or Rashford. But I was really happy today with Sancho's work rate. He's running, he's keeping the shape, he's pressing. Those fundamentals sometimes are more important to me than your attacking prowess, because if you don't have the base and the foundation, I don't really care about the rest of your play, because you'll let the team down so regularly over the course of the season. I was quite impressed with Sancho today as well, if I'm going to be honest with you. I thought he should have twined up a nearly 40-year-old Ashley Young a little bit more. But again, since the Sevilla game, the basics, the work rate, the desire from Sancho has been a lot better, and that's the base that we start with. So I was kind of happy with him. Of course, I've already mentioned Bruno Fernandes' performance. I think Sabitzer and Ericsson did okay today in terms of controlling the ball. I was disappointed in their final ball a lot of the time today. Similarly with Rashford, I thought we had an okay game, 6 out of 10. You know, his perseverance and his shot kind of led to the goal. But I wanted a little bit more from those players today. And I think Man United's biggest Achilles heel came out in this game. Yes, we conceded a few chances, but Villa are a good team. If you actually go and look at the form table since Unai Emery's been at the club, they're one of the best teams in the league. They've also only conceded 2 or 3 goals in the last 2 months. So to score against them and to smash them is difficult. So I'm happy with the win, but we didn't kill the game off when we had the chances again today. And that's our biggest Achilles heel. If I go back and just look at so many games this season, the City defeat early in the season, Brentford, Brighton, you'd go to the Villa defeat at their grounds, Newcastle away, and Liverpool. Got to look at those results and go, you're outclassed in those games. If I look at a lot of our draws, at least 3 or 4 of them, and a couple of our defeats, not killing games off has been a problem. And that is what the manager needs to look to resolve in pre-season, both with more training, with development, and of course, buying players, because we should have put this game to bed before that nervy last 10 minutes. And I know every Man United fan watching was doing what I was doing and was almost hiding their face for that final free kick of the game. It was just, I had a horrible gut feeling, and I'm so glad this time round the gut wasn't right. I'm so glad indeed. But, we need to learn to kill games off next year. And I'm sure with the signings that we're going to make, United will be able to do that. More ball carrying and athleticism in the middle, I think, is also going to be key. The thing with Sabitzer, Casemiro, and Ericsson, as good as they can all be on the ball at times, that burst of pace over 2 or 3 yards to get away from a man isn't there. Bruno doesn't have that either. You've got, when we tried the counter attack today, even Sancho isn't the quickest in terms of off the first 3 or 4 yards. Only really Rashford. And Man United need a little bit more of that blistering pace in their team when it comes to the transition, or when they break a line and need to pounce. That and clinical edge for the final ball or the finishing is going to be needed next year. And this Man United team will, in my opinion, with the right purchases, become even more dangerous and even more scary for rivals. There is no doubt about that in my mind. But I reiterate what I said. We're playing with a left back at centre back, sitting 4th in the league, opportunity to go third if we win our game in hand. No moaning about injuries. No moaning about we don't have all the right players. We know what we need to improve. We're getting on with it. We're surpassing expectations. We're beating the predictions that were put against us this year. And I want this team to maintain it until the end of the season, find some better form, secure that top 4 position, and who knows, maybe end it with a trophy. We saw today with Fulham against City. City were better than them, but Fulham took it to them. And, maybe with a little bit more quality up front, Fulham could have pulled a draw off today. They weren't They're not inflammable. They're gettable. We've beaten them already, but they are the favourites for that game. And I just want us to end the season well, shut the naysayers up, go into pre-season and go again. We know we've got the media against us. And one of the reasons all year I've fought back against lazy journalism, ridiculous criticisms of other teams, is because I do want the credibility, and also I want to be seen as someone who's not a hypocrite when it comes to defending my club that are also being treated badly in that same way. I don't subscribe to the notion of, well, if I'm not happy about how I get treated, I'm going to mistreat everybody else. I think that's a really sad, pathetic, beta way to look at the world. For instance, I don't like how the media talks about Raheem Sterling. Never have. But what my course of my thought process is, well, I'm going to slag off Harry Kane and Rashford so they're treated as badly, so it's all equal. That's a weird way to look at the world. I look to raise the standards instead of lowering them down. I don't want to live in the sewer. I don't want to live with the piss and the shit and the crap. Who would? Why stay there? Elevate yourselves. And we know United are going to get a lot of crap between now and the end of the season. Take it on the chin. We're ready with the ammunition because this team is on its way to the top. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Who is on the top, though, is Manchester City. And look, I had their game on at the same time. It became hard to watch the last 20 minutes of their game because United's game became more intense. But look, they look good today, especially at the start. I think today was one of the games that you looked at, well, maybe they could drop points, and it wasn't. Look, they comfortably were winners, but it was a tough game for him. How many more of them have they got left? I know Gooners are hoping for that defeat and they're hoping for that draw and they want to pounce upon it. I think all Arsenal can do now in this title race is just try and win all your games. Win your last 5 games and pray that there's a mistake along the way or a shock result that sets this alive. But City look like they're going to be champions now. Most people predicted it all season, and it looks like they're going to be right. Haaland, goal number 50. I always remember at the start of the season, people said I was mad. People said I was crazy. People said I was off my head, legitimately off my head, to suggest that he would break Salah's record. He's not only broke Salah's record, he's equaled Andy Cole and Alan Shearer's of 34 goals, but that was in a 42-game season. He's now matched the record for 50 goals in all comps that has been around since 1931. And I think he needs something like 12 more goals to beat Dixie Dean's record of over 100 years and become the highest goal scorer in a single season ever as a striker or any player and a striker. But he's doing it and maybe winning a treble. Remember, Bruno Fernandes has the most goals in all comps ever for a midfielder in English football. The difference was that year United didn't win anything. So that record kind of paled into insignificance in some ways. Haaland could be doing this as a striker and equaling the greatest football achievement of all time, which is a treble. And by the way, there's only one treble. There's not 20 different variations of a treble. There's one treble. FA Cup, Premier League, Champions League. There's one double, Premier League, FA Cup. That's it. Let's keep these things prestigious by making them unique instead of having 120 different versions of them. What's the point? Do you know what I mean? Let's keep it unique. Let's keep it special. Simple and as straightforward as that. That guy is a phenom. I've heard a lot of talk in the last few weeks that he can't win a Ballon d'Or. He's not technically a good enough footballer. For me, that's hipster talk. For me, it's a nonsense. That's preference talk. This man, if he scores more goals in English football than ever that's been done before in a single season, it makes him one of the greatest strikers we've ever seen. Fair enough, he can't do a drag back as well as, or a step over as well as somebody else. Maybe his first touch isn't as good as a Berbatov. Maybe his creativity isn't as good as a Thierry Henry. But when it comes to finishing, he leaves them all behind. And goal scoring is the hardest skill in football. It's harder than a great first touch. It's harder than a Cruyff turn. It's harder than a brilliant diagonal ball. Goal scoring is the hardest skill in football. We all got taught this as kids. Every football person in the world knows it. Everybody. It's not me making it up. It's not an opinion. It be fact. It's why goal scorers have always been the most expensive players. Because it's the hardest skill to seek. It's the hardest skill to find. It's always been the case. And it always will be for the rest of time. Because without goals, you never, ever win games. It's impossible. If no goals, and you are where Chelsea are. Someone here says, no, it's not, Terry. Then tell me why goal scorers are the most expensive players in the world and have been over the course of time. If you can explain that one to me, why every manager ever, and listen, by the way, Haaland was cheap for City because of a buyout clause. If Haaland didn't have a buyout clause, what was his valuation? Why is Mbappe the most valuable player in the world? Why were Messi and Ronaldo the most valuable players in the world? Why was R9 the most valuable player in the world? Why are the players that score and create the most goals, especially scorers, the most valuable players in the world then, my friend, if it's not the hardest commodity? Answer me that, and I will shut my big, fat, cockney mouth for you. And people don't like that because they know I want skill to be the most important thing. Bruv, there are YouTubers that can do skills, but they can't score goals. It's as simple as that. It's the hardest position to play in football. Is Maguire centre-back partner? That's actually quite funny, my friend. That's it. It's the most important skill as well. You're absolutely right. Most important and hardest skill. And how do we know that? Because you think about all the footballers in the world. How many can actually score at an elite rate consistently? 4, 5, 6? Proves it's not. If there's only 5 or 6 men in the whole world that can do something, how's it not the hardest skill? There we go. It's that unique. I'm going to bring my panel out now to have their say with this. Actually, I've got a couple of super chats first. So first one says, Terry, some local match goers scolded me with that foreign fan were keeping the Glazers here due to attendance. Didn't see the foreigners in the stadium today. Listen, bro, look, the protest today, well done to everybody that did them. But they then went into the ground and gave the Glazers their money. They're asking for a full... One thing I'm confused about, and I'd love to get it from the viewers, they're saying no to a partial sale, full sale only. But what if the only option's a partial sale? Would you rather just keep the Glazers in their entirety? I don't get it. It's so confusing to me. But no one likes Jim at the moment. He's hated, but we'll see. Terry, the Mr. Arsenal scares me. Can I get a final answer? If Arsenal are still in the process, the most delusional fan base, or suffering from complexity? Yeah, Arsenal still for me are a scary outfit. They're a brilliant team. They'll get better in the summer. And until my team is better than them, they worry me, they concern me, and they scare me. Until we get to a point where, like, Spurs don't scare me because we're better than them overall. They don't worry me. Arsenal are better than us. City are better than us. I'm worried about them. I'm worried and scared about what Newcastle might do if my team stands still. It's such a bait. Listen, I say this to all the men listening. If you're intimidated by the word scared, if you're like, no, I'm not, it's because you're a beta. That's all I'm gonna say. Real men wear pink. Real men can admit when they're scared of something. Do you know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that. Man like Rick Grimes, he was always admitting what he was scared of. But he was still a tough guy. Don't be a beta and admit what frightens you. Do we still fear Arsenal, Terry? I think, based on the level of relief, yes. Absolutely. It's a bit like, imagine Anthony Joshua said he's going to come to your house now and knock you out. And then you see him pull up outside his car and you're sitting at the window and you're shaking, you're worried. Then when he leaves, you go, oh, great. That feeling is what I think most people feel about Arsenal right now. Thank God. But they're not going anywhere, in my opinion. They'll still be a very good team next year if they buy right. Panel time now, people. Hit the like and share button. Let's go. Welcome back. Welcome to the show, boys. Hamza's here with us. Hamza, I did see a video of you the other day. Your cousin outing you as an Arsenal fan.
Which one?
Your cousin was outing you as an Arsenal fan the other day.
Ah, God, man. Everyone asked me as an Arsenal fan, ex-Arsenal fan, man. I was watching the City. I had the shirt as a City supporter. And my cousin is just a sore loser. A 13-year-old wants me to be an Arsenal fan. Never. This has been my club always and always be.
Family, you know, I'll say, if your cousin is watching, find them family photos. We can find a picture of Hamza in an Arsenal shirt. That would be amazing. But KJ, first of all, big win for United today. We beat those dirty Brummies. We beat them dirty Brummies. Talk to me. You're on mute, brother. You're on mute.
We got the win, and that was the most important thing about today's game. We actually played well. Villa came with a game plan. You know, Emery has been a thorn in our side many, many times. But they came with a game plan to try this high line, try to keep us pushed back. And for the most part, we was dealing with them. We was getting balls over the top. On another day, we score and create so many more chances than we actually did. A few balls a bit overrun. Some of the opportunities that, like Eriksen's one, just not finding the right player. But at the end of the day, we got the result that we needed. And it just shows that our main issue is scoring goals. People want to chat about our defense or our midfield, and the main issue is scoring goals right now. If we score 2-3 goals in that game, which we could have, the end of that game don't happen because we're more relaxed, we're more calmed down, and we will see the game out better. But because we don't score enough goals, each end of every game is just chaos. It's panic stations because we know at any moment a goal can come from one of their attacks. So yeah, we just need to improve our scoring goals, and then we should be fine. So if we can get like games that we win 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, or 4-1, whatever, I think that will help us in the long run for this FA Cup final. But overall, we got the job done, decent performance, and we can grow on from there. I just want to say, Victor Lindelof should sue Harry Maguire for defamation because the way that he gets disrespected, even from myself, the way he got disrespected because he was playing next to Harry Maguire, that is defamation of character, and Harry Maguire should be sued by Victor Lindelof. He should, because he's been colossal since he's been playing next to Shaw, since he was playing next to Leacher. Every game he plays without Maguire, he is the best version of Lindelof that we bought. So right now, do I think we should upgrade him? Yeah, of course, at some point. But right now, if you're telling me next summer, I'll keep him to be the backup right back and backup right centre back. And obviously we get rid of the elephant in the room. But yeah, fair play to Lindelof. Well done. Colossal performance again. And yeah, Sue that brother. Sue him because you deserve your respect back.
I hear you on that. He was great. And I also think, again, he wasn't really at fault for the goals the other night, but Luke Shaw at centre-back, Cam, just considering he's a left-back, playing at centre-back, in for Martinez, another solid performance from him.
It was beautiful. Honestly, our back line between him, Delo, and Lindelof. Malassi was all right. He was good. He had a little in every moment. He was also good at that tackle in the box. The whole back line looked good, but like Luke Shaw has basically extended his career at United because at some point that man's pace is going to go. We just know, and he's kind of lived on being a decently pacey guy. But now we know where his second route is. He's going to be our backup left-sided center back because he's great there. I really enjoyed. There's one passage of play at the end of the game there where basically him and Malacia I don't know who they took it off of, but they just looked comfortable on the ball, and then he was able to move in the midfield. Malacia was able to go back and deputize for him, and it's just nice to feel comfortable with him there versus when you see Maguire flailing around or about to get beat, just uncomfortable on the ball. What you said, I completely agree with you, KJ. I was watching it. Like Lindelof for me was my man of the match. Like he had no idea that Watkins was offside, by the way, when he cleared it off the line. And Watkins has been on fire, and we didn't hear from him at all. Like the guy is completely different without Maguire beside him. And it's like everybody talks about all the De Gea haters and whatnot. They're like, how can you feel comfortable as a defender with De Gea? It's like, no, the problem is how can you feel comfortable with Maguire beside you? How can you feel comfortable if you're De Gea with Maguire in front of you? That's what become the problem. And anybody who's been like watching the show knows I'm not one of those guys who just hated on Maguire. That's not something I did. But now it's just so obvious where you're just like, that man's got to go. When you have a dude who's a left back come in and is significantly better than you at your job, that's like Terry, you deciding to take up marketing and being significantly better than me at my job out of nowhere. I should quit my field. That would make me feel terrible if you just never did it and or I became a banker tomorrow. Like Maguire's just got to go to a smaller club and be gone. And right now, all that matters today is we got the 3 points. We played really good football for the first half. And at the end there, I was a bit worried. I was like, we brought in Maguire. We're going to sit back and we're going to concede. Like you said, I barely could look at the screen. We've seen the story, but we got the 3 points, and I think we're good now. Now I'm chill. Now I'm like top 4. I'm pretty calm. I'm calm, KJ. I'm calm.
I know you're calm. For me, I'm like until it's done, it's not done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We gotta have a big precipitous drop off.
But we've got a good percentage, like a good probability of us getting top 4 now, which is the main thing. We just keep marching on, getting our 3 points. And secure that top 4. Hopefully, we beat Ollie's best of the season as a full-time manager of 74 points. We're on course to do so. So if we can do that, I'll be happy. I'll be happy.
Yeah, and look, I think when it comes to the manager, I've seen some weird stuff this last week. I've seen people compare our first season under Ten Hag to other managers' second seasons and third seasons. When you do first season analysis, the first best season in terms of the league position points that any manager's had. And Jose, of course, won 2 trophies in his first season. There's an opportunity to potentially match that as well with a better league standing. So very, very happy with the direction that we're going in. I want to ask Dizzy. We are going to talk some City on the show as well. That's why Hamza's here. Bruno Fernandes again today. There was a lot of accusations maybe 2-3 months ago that he was being moved out of position because he was distrusted by Erik Ten Hag. But he gets moved out wide today because Anthony's being rested or has been dropped for a poor performance. There's nobody else to come in that position the manager trusts. He goes out there. He doesn't moan. Well, he does moan, but he moans at his players for high standards. He doesn't moan about where he has to play. He goes out there. He drives the team forward. He scores the winning goal. He's 100th goal of his career, by the way, as a midfielder, which is sensational. But another top day from Bruno Fernandes, Dizzy.
Bro, here's the thing that confuses me with United fans. How this guy gets any slander, it honestly is beyond me. Bruno Fernandes is, I will say, he's the best signing that United have made since Fergie left. If you remember where United were before Bruno Fernandes came out, before we signed Bruno Fernandes, I'm pretty sure Ollie was close to being sacked. I'm almost certain we were on the back of about 4 or 5 games not winning. And I think the game before we signed him was Brighton, and I think we might have lost 2-1 or 3-1, something along those lines. We were terrible. And Ollie was being sacked a year ahead of schedule. And he came in, he reinvigorated us. He gave us something to believe in that season, at least. And he's been our most consistent player. Is he frustrating at times? Absolutely. But name me a player in world football that isn't frustrating at times. And I'll call you a liar. Was every last one of them are frustrating at times. As great as Haaland has been this season, I've watched some games where I've been like, he could have made that run there. He could have made that pass there. He could have done something else that he didn't do. Bruno Fernandes is a wonderful football player. I think United are going places. I don't think we are where we are without him. And I don't think we can challenge for what we're challenging for this season without him. And I think it's as simple as that, really.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more. I just think Ivorian Spice is here with us. See, Bruno does get a lot of stick. But, even this season, like, where would we be without him?
As far as we are, no, he's put.
That's working now. Go on, mate.
Big up to everyone. I'll be honest with you. I don't think we will be as far as we are in the league, and as far as well as we are doing in the Premier League this season, and also throughout the other competitions without Bruno's assist. I know that Christian Eriksen as well has helped Manchester United in the league and also throughout the whole entire other competitions with the assists. But Bruno Fernandes himself with his goals, double figures in assists, double figures in goals as well. Regardless, as much as I criticize Bruno Fernandes for the way he performs throughout the whole 90 minutes, the input is still there. He still gives us the assist. He still contributes. The fact that he gets moved onto the right side of the midfield, it just shows trust in the manager. It doesn't show distrust. And the fact that he can play in the number 6 position as well when required, and also moved into the number 10 position, it just shows how impactful he is, man. Bruno Fernandes has had a very good season, and I've always been critical of him. I've always wanted someone that can be as much more involved in the game as he's meant to be. And this season has shown that improvement. Erik ten Hag has done wonders on Bruno Fernandes. But still, we still want more from Bruno. There are times, even today, you saw him having a go at Sancho, and Sancho told him to stop moaning. But a couple of seconds ago, you saw yourself in a position where you could have passed it to Rashford, but he decided to do the wrong thing. So you can't complain all the time. I know he has high standards, but as well, you need to also look at your standards. But big up Bruno, another good game for him as well.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like, a lot of people overreact to the. It's funny because a lot of Liverpool fans that don't like Henderson will say when they see a player talk back to him, they'll be like, "See, that means the players don't respect him." But that's bullshit, because I've seen Liverpool players have a go back at Gerrard before. I've seen Man United players have a go at Roy Keane before. Peter Schmeichel's would swear at anyone in his team. He didn't care if he was a captain or not. But Sancho kind of telling him not to moan, I kind of get. But Bruno's moaning because the right things are not being done. That doesn't mean Bruno can't make mistakes. That's the way the world is now, isn't it? Well, how dare Bruno, even as captain, have a go at anyone if he makes mistakes? Because every fucking player does, you morons. It is what it is. But there's a super chat here from the Bill that says, Dizzy, it's Pogba fans like Johnny that spread hate. And listen, I never really understood the Bruno versus Pogba thing because they were both our players. I don't understand why we're one of the only fan bases in the world who start civil wars rather than attacking other football clubs when it comes to player debates. I've seen Man United fans going over Sancho and Rashford this year. I'm like, go after another player, team's club players. Why are you doing your own? Weird to me. But yeah, weird.
Yeah, and for me personally, my dream would have been to see Bruno and Pogba with a holding DM that like a Casemiro. That was always my dream, to see whether or not it could work. But yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Our family.
Yeah, I mean, if Pogba was fit enough and had stayed, Pogba instead of Christian Eriksen this year would have been amazing. Yeah, it's crazy. Andre here says David De Gea is currently on 15 clean sheets, 2 ahead of Nick Pope. He may have his deficiencies, but he's still an unbelievably brilliant shot stopper. That's true. I mean, I didn't even know until the other week that he was that high up on the list. But it's even weird when Man United's like our goal difference this year has been destroyed by like 3 or 4 games. That's what's crazy about Man United's backline. It's 3 or 4 games that have ruined our goal difference.
Spurs get battered everywhere they go, people.
So Don't ruin it for me. I'm watching the game.
I didn't know how far you are.
You're
into the
just
game,
like
my
my
brother.
other half, right? She watches the game in the living room. It's on TV, so it's ahead of me by 30 seconds. I go in there when she goes to the bathroom and pause it for 30 seconds because she always cheers when something happens, and then I lose my buzz. But
Yeah,
who
bro,
scored?
yo,
Anyway,
get
who
a better
scored?
stream, fam. And I ain't
No, no,
mindful you're 30 seconds behind.
Bro, mine's literally on Sky Go. It's
Yeah,
literally
tell
Sky Go.
what I'm saying is there are better places than Sky Go to get up to date streams.
That's true. That's true. But it's one in the office. But there we go. But yeah, David, who scored, by the way? Curtis Jones score against them. Curtis Jones, fuck my life. Don't gonna lie, Hamza. Doesn't look like he isn't a true City fan. He looks more like he's gonna support a team whoever wins. I bet he was Real Madrid or a Barca fan. Hamza, I want to talk to you though, my friend. Top of the league now. Haaland on 50 goals. And are you sitting in a little chair? What's wrong with you? Where's your camera at? Center yourself more. There we go. Go on. Talk to us. Top of the league now, my friend.
We are top of the league. We're top of the league. We are top of the league. We're top of the league. Come on, let's go. Listen, I warned everyone, man. I've been saying from beginning, it's a joke, like literally. Like today, this is the game I needed to get that win to be confirmed, hopefully, Premier League champions. This is the game. This is the game I was worried about. Yeah. Today, listen, I lost my voice because I went to the Arsenal game. That's why I lost my voice. It was so intense. To me, what a performance by Manchester City. Listen, Arsenal have been leading the league table for 93% of the year, 93% of the season. We've only led the race now 4 days. 4 days. And hopefully we'll be crowned champions. My team is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Today, a fantastic performance. Our players are tired. We got a thin squad. People don't understand that. We have a very, 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 very thin squad. You know, it's so difficult when we have to play Haaland every time. Rodri doesn't get rested. We can't rest Rodri. We can't. Because Calvin Phillips is not good enough. We can't rest Rodri. Yeah. Sadly, he has to play. Gundogan sometimes has to play Rodri's position. Like, our players are tired. We're playing twice a week. Twice a week. We're going to the Bayern, Munich, away, home. We're battering them. We're playing Leipzig, a fantastic team in Europe. We're battering them. We go to Arsenal, we beat them. People doubted this team. People doubted Pep. Like, what an incredible team that Pep is transforming this. Like, our back line, impeccable. Probably, I would say, probably the best back line I've ever seen in the Premier League. Like, they're so solid. That's what I'm saying. They're so solid. Solid. Like, I trust them. This is the first time I really trust them. I put my heart, and I guarantee you that Real Madrid will be scared. My backline is absolutely impeccable. Absolutely fantastic. Diaz, fantastic performance. Stones, brilliant. Akanji, fantastic. 13 million. 13 million. When Arsenal bought Keogh for 25 point something million, we bought this guy 13 million. 13. Yeah. Ake, fantastic. Like, he's been brilliant. But today, he showed we needed to grind this win. I told City fans, it's not going to be a comfortable win, but we need to grind this. And this is how champions win. This is why a team like us have been dominating the league last 7 years. That's why we're champions. That's why we make it look easy. We're very experienced. We're confident how to win. We know how to win. Games like this, we can. And Alvarez today. The reason why we sold Jesus is because of a player like Alvarez. Look at this boy. 22 years old. Yeah, he's so amazing. At 22 years old, he does everything you need. He presses, he will score goals, he will work hard. He's done everything as a 22-year-old. He doesn't get the mention. People don't realize how special and how lucky City are to get Alvarez from the bench, and he can play that performance. And that to score that goal is not luck. If you've watched Alvarez at River Plate, you'll see when he shoots, top corner. He doesn't joke. He's like Batistuta, bang. Batistuta, bang, Batigo. Brilliant. He doesn't joke around. Like, today's performance by Alvarez, outstanding. Gundogan and Rodri, brilliant. Yeah? Grealish, fantastic. Like, we were tired after that game that we've been playing. This is not the best City side today that you saw, but we needed that win. And today it showed that Arsenal, they've been the top of the league for 93%. 93 threw every competition down the drain for this league. Are we serious? They threw everything, Terry. They threw everything for this league and led the race like a runner, like Mo Farah coming to the end of the line. And you're running 5,000 meters and 4,999. You fall on the finish line. You fall on the finish line. Yeah? It's a bottle job. Now, our performance, it shows why Manchester City, I'm not going to say, if we win the treble, whoa. If we win the treble, if we win the treble.
Well, it'll be the second treble of your life as a fan, won't it?
Yeah, it will be. But I think if we win the treble, it will be the greatest treble of all time.
Stop that.
It was 99.
Stop that.
There's no question about it.
No.
Can't believe this.
I swear Trump was 99.
Can't believe this.
No, we're not doing it. I'm not
I said to United fan, it's so painful to say that because we've done it. Fergie, listen, Fergie won the league with 78 points. We're going to win the league with 90 points. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Yeah, Fergie drew 13 games and 3 goals. Nearly 50% of the games you could win.
No, I'm stopping you there. You don't get to move the goalposts and be like, football's changed. The world's changed. You can now team scoring more. The game's changed. Everything's changed. Points acquired has changed. It's a completely different game. You don't get to now say, oh, because they have more points. Moving forward, teams are going to accumulate more points now than they ever did before. That's how it's going to work. The better teams are going to accumulate points. We're never going to see a League One with 80 points again. Ever. It's never going to happen. So you being like, oh, well, we want to ascend.
Hamza, just on one thing. We'll move on to that debate nearer the time.
I can't do it.
But I hear you. But my view is this. You're allowed, like this season as an example, you're allowed to make 5 substitutions, right?
Yeah.
5 subs from your squad gives you more of an advantage when it comes to accumulating more points than a team that could only make 3 subs from 4 outfield players allowed on the subs bench 20 years ago. So I think that's why you can't just look at things like for like and say it's better because of points, because the rules of football have changed. I mean, even things like the way the offside rule works, as an example, all these things play a poll. For me, it'll be up there with what Man United do if you win a treble. I'm never going to play it down. But I think let's wait and see for you to do it. Once you've done it, then I think we have those debates and we look at the merits of what each team achieved, the teams you knocked out of competitions, the runs you went on, because that's the way you measure it, if that makes sense. Remember who Man United had to knock out. Remember who we had in our group stage of the Champions League in 99. We had Barca and Bayern Munich in our groups back then.
You couldn't beat them.
We won the tournament. We won the
tournament.
But
you couldn't beat Bayern Munich and Barcelona.
But competitions are not always about beating people in 90 minutes. It's about winning the tournament, right?
But yeah, I understand. You beat Brøndby, but you couldn't beat Bayern and Barca. You only qualified because we beat Bayern in 4 games there.
We beat Bayern in the final.
No, but you beat Inter Milan, who finished 8th in the Serie A.
Hang on, just shush while I'm talking.
I'm going to be humble.
Just shush while I'm talking.
I'm going to be humble.
But you're missing the point. Yes, we drew against those teams, but even this isn't a dig at today's football. It's the way it is. You don't have groups now where you get 3 of the best teams in Europe. It's the equivalence of you, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid this year all being in the same group stage. That doesn't happen now. It's done in a way where all the best teams typically avoid each other until later rounds. It was different. So I don't want to get into the debate. We don't have time today, but don't disrespect history just because rules have changed and regulations have changed and the size of competitions has changed. You can't just do that because it's just, hang on a minute, what's going on there? I thought it was 3-0. But there we go. I want to get to some of these super chats here because I don't want to disrespect the viewers. According to Dizzy, the Glazers kept Ollie at the wheel because of Bruno, so not the best signing. Just kidding. Is Alvarez the second best striker in the Premier League? No, he's not better than Harry Kane. He's also, look, he's very good. What we haven't seen from Alvarez yet is him have to lead the line for 38 games. Because that's when, look, he's better than Eddie Nketiah, but listen to the example rather than the person. Eddie Nketiah, when he first came in the Arsenal team, looked good, didn't he? And then his quality kind of fizzled out and he went back to where he was. I think Alvarez is better than him, but you can only judge when you're starting regularly. I don't think you can judge off of sporadic starts in a brilliant team. Must be 3-0 by the look on your face, KJ.
No, penalty. Penalty has been given
to
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Hey, and do you know what? It's annoying because we fucking drew with each other.
I tell you, I'm pissed.
I know.
Terry, this is.
Go on,
I want a 7-0.
This is why
That's what I
last
thought.
match reaction, when I came on, you saw how angry I was. This was the first time I come on a match reaction and I'm angry, and we didn't even lose. I wasn't even this angry when we lost to Sevilla. But this team is so shit. When you press on their neck for like 90 minutes, they have no answer. And we're the only ones to make them look good out of the lot. Everyone else is going there, smacking them. They're about to be 3-0 down in like 15 minutes. And we're out there tying with them 2-2.
Do you know
Absolutely
what, though?
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but what I would say is this. The difference is we were at their ground.
Yeah, I see that, obviously.
We've got a dodgy away record against the bigger teams this year. It's one of the things we've got to fix. If we were at Old Trafford with our crowd behind us, we'd have put 5, 6, 7 past them as well. Because this Spurs, no, I honestly think we would have done.
Because we haven't done that all season. We've never put 5, 6 past anyone this season.
Yeah, I think this Spurs team away from home. Look, I'm not even having a go at Liverpool again, but Liverpool moving the ball well, but Liverpool aren't doing anything crazy good. Even Newcastle, when they beat them, I watched it. There's some good passes, but it wasn't like cutting edge. Oh my God, it's the greatest football I've seen in history. Spurs are falling apart here, like Man United did there. The only difference is, I think Liverpool might do to them what Newcastle did in the second half and take their foot off the gas. Liverpool, because they hate Man United, it was like, nah, we're gonna kill you and destroy you. But yeah, it is 3-0 according to the comment section.
It is. Salah put the penalty away.
Wow.
In my most favorite position in the goal for Pen.
Yeah, brilliant. This here says Arsenal. This here says Arsenal same amount of trophies as Chelsea in 2022-23. Jacob says best defense. Come on, bro. I don't think City have the best defense, but you have the best offense. Your offense is your defense. Yeah, I mean, you don't have the best defense. I mean, you've conceded 30 goals this season. There are plenty of other defenses in Premier League history that have conceded less than that in more games than you've played. So to say the best ever defense in Premier League history,
last 2 months, Pepper's trusted.
Yeah, but you can't say in the last 2 months. Man United in 2009 conceded 24 goals, but we also still hold the world record that season for the longest amount of time without conceding. I think Chelsea in 2000 and I want to say it was 05. I'm going to go check. They conceded 15 goals all year. So listen, this City team's amazing. But again, yeah, and so let's not go too far. Terry, get this City fan here after the Madrid humble them. Listen, Luke. Football gods, stop it. Football gods. Say they're going to win. Everyone said they're going to win. Listen, trust me. I agree with Hamza about Arsenal. Hamza's first win at the treble come back and talk. Terry, after the end of the season, can we have a stream to laugh at Arsenal? No. I mean, you can if you want. You can just come on the streams. I'm not going to do a stream specifically to laugh at them. We've never done that to any team. That'd be a really beta thing to do. And I'm not that kind of guy. But you can come on and laugh at them after their games, my friend. It's entirely up to you. Hamza, so you agree that we are going to be your second? That you're going to be your second treble as a fan. Your first was when you were a United fan. You did admit that this is your second treble.
No. I said it's going to be this.
You did.
He did.
You
got witnesses.
KJ got a bit of clipping to do after this show.
Yep. How many goals would be offside from 99 if VAR existed? Double-edged sword. Yeah, you could argue for both teams, my friend. You could argue it in both ways. For offside, would penalty decisions do things? So again, that's why you can't compare eras. You compare results because like for like isn't the same. VAR has changed football in every direction. And goal line technology has changed football.
And just to be clear, like I've always given City full on credit. Like that's the thing. I've always said like Pep Guardiola to me is the next, like it's Sir Alex Ferguson and Pep. Like I respect the hell out of that guy. And I always have said this team's been 10 years in the making and everything they've done is a great achievement. The treble is a hard thing to do. So if they pull it off this year, if we don't stop them because it's on us, or Real Madrid don't stop them, if that doesn't happen, Great. Congratulations. My problem with the whole hyperbole that's come out now is being like, oh, now they're the greatest side ever. They're matching achievements that have happened. And it was always going to happen. Whether it was them, whether it was Liverpool, somebody was going to match the treble. It's sports. That's how it works. But now to say they're the greatest to do it, you got to give me like straight, strong facts that make that the case, because United did it twice, right? There's things that
once
you can't just say they're the best. Like, you can say equaled, which is great. If you win next year, if City go 4, then I'll shut my mouth.
This is the thing about the points total. City fans right now, that is what they'll fluctuate to. But in 20 years' time, when the elite teams get even better and suddenly teams are winning titles of 105, 106 points, and suddenly all of City's record, they're better than you, you'll be defending your club in the same way that Manchester United.
Because what if they decided to add, you know what, let's make it 24 teams in the Premier League, 22 teams in the Premier League. So you have extra games, get extra points. What we're going to say, those teams are now better because they got higher points totals. No,
what if they get rid of what if in the next 3 or 4 years they get rid of the League Cup for Premier League teams or European teams, and then they play less games? Like, all these things, when changes happen in football, you have to adjust. That's why you judge things on achievements rather than things like points totals. But again, I was saying that 5 years ago. This had nothing to do with the treble. But there we go.
Also,
when he said United did it twice, he means the 3-peat. That's what he was talking about. Terry, this would be Man City's second treble. They had a domestic one. Yeah, again, I was saying this 5, 6, 7 years ago. There's one treble, and it's Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League. They won 3 trophies in that season. If Man United win the FA Cup, you will not see me say we've done a double. There's only one double. There's only one treble, in my opinion. Because I like it to be unique. I don't like how I just don't like it. It's gooey and icky for me. I never said that Jose won a double. I said we won 2 trophies that year. I'm very consistent with that. You can disagree with me, but I'm consistent. Barca got 2 trebles. Where do they rank? Well, people rank that Barca team with Messi as the greatest club team of all time. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. If City win the treble, are they bigger than Arsenal? Again, like I'll say, I'll keep the same energy. Let's wait for them to do it, and then we can have that conversation. I think that's fair to say, because how you win it may dictate it. Does that make sense? Like, we've got to wait. It's another Hot Scrubs refund incoming. X is pissed. Oh, Hot Scrubs, you mean it's in Hotspurs? I get you now. Dinesh says, afternoon in the 90s, you were allowed. Afternoon in the 90s, you were only allowed 3 foreign players in Europe. 8 had to be English. 3 foreign was including Irish and Welsh players. And this is a great example. This doesn't even include the treble team. It had gone by then. But when people say things like Fergie didn't win more Champions Leagues or English managers didn't, like the Arsenal teams in the 90s that made it, we were hamstrung by how many players we could play. So you'd have, like, we used to have to play games sometimes depending on injuries and who you needed. I remember watching Champions League games where we had to leave Eric Cantona out because we had injuries at the back. So the stand-in players we had for our centre-backs were from foreign countries. And it meant we couldn't play Eric Cantona in a game because of a rule like that. Now, that's just, and by the way, that's not other English footballers weren't very good throughout this. England's footballers weren't great throughout the 80s and 90s. That had nothing to do with Manchester United directly. It's the reason why we were developing our academy to make better English players. It just so happened that by the time they came through, they got rid of that rule. So again, these things are either unknown or forgotten about in football, and they shouldn't be, because it takes context away. And that's not a dig at City, and City fans should hold on to it as well. And I know that Prime's in the comment sections and he always calls me out for defending Arsenal. He still doesn't seem to grasp what I'm doing. It isn't protecting Arsenal to protect Arsenal. It's about the principles I want to see from journalism. Because if we allow that BS, lazy journalism, it's good to attack Arsenal with, they use it to take our history away as well. Sometimes you have to stand up for a rival in the pursuit of ensuring that integrity is given to your team. This week we saw it done where people were trying to downplay Fergie and state that he's never influenced football. But it's the same lazy journalism they use to say that Arsenal haven't progressed this year. I will defend it all, because in the long term, we as a Man United fans will see our club's history undone with the same lazy journalism. And if you don't see it in that way, I feel sorry for you, because Listen, I was the one who said 2 months ago this treble talk had come. No, let's laugh at Arsenal. Now all I see from everybody, including Gary Neville, is, oh, I'm so scared of everyone them doing this treble now. I was talking about it 2 months ago and was getting laughed at on this platform. It's crazy.
And you know what? And you know what? For me personally, doing these all-time conversations every week is actually not only doing a disservice to football history, but it's doing a disservice to teams like Man City at the moment, doing a disservice to Arsenal when they were top of the league. Why I say that is simply because they have no business being in these conversations. So you almost have to downplay the incredible achievements that they're achieving at this current present moment because they have no business being in these conversations when you really deep how incredible these achievements are, like winning the treble, like going all season top of the league and winning it after 20 years or whatever the case is. Until you've done it, you can't put these in these conversations, the MSN conversations with Martinelli, Saka, and my man. Madness, man. Madness.
No, it's mad.
I was gonna save this for another time. It feels ep now. In the last 3 days, I've seen all fan bases, not everyone from those fan bases, but Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, who are the only teams, in my opinion, with an argument for greatest Premier League teams ever, along with United and City. They've all agreed this City team, if they do the treble, it will surpass Fergie's treble. These are the same fans for 22 decades that have argued their team's achievements were actually better than the treble. But now suddenly they're not even arguing that anymore. They're just going, yeah, it's better than the treble. Because, so it just goes to show that they're either bullshitting now or they were bullshitting then. And that's the kind of lazy punditry that I want to call out, because for me, all it boils down to is and especially from Gooners in this last week, how can we shit on someone else to make ourselves feel better? That's all this really is. And because nobody really worries about City yet, they don't really worry about City yet, as an example. If the Invincibles were better than Man United's treble, why are you not arguing that it's better than this treble? It doesn't make any sense. Why are you allowing Man United to suddenly become number 2 in an argument that you said you were number 1 in? It's mad. Mad.
This Man City team is not even the best Man City team they've had in the past 5 years. And I'll tell you for a simple reason why. And this is basically me using Hamza's argument against him. When you talk about points, you've had 2 teams that would finish this team. If they would win the league and they win every game left, they would have 93 points. You've had 2 teams that finished with more points than that in the last 5 years. Does that mean that these 2 teams are better than this one? You can argue, yes, because they have added a Champions League to it. But how can this team be better than the Man United treble because they had more points? But then you're not going to use that same argument against the City team that finished with the 100 points, and I believe it was 99 or 98 the season after. So those 2 teams mathematically finished with more points than this one. So see, this is why this argument sometimes, and I'm not really attacking you, Hamza, like just personally, but this is argument, as Terry said, it's been going on a lot and people saying all this bullshit. This is when these arguments come back to bite your ass, because when you try to stick to one narrative so much to prove that your rival's team was shit just because we did this or that better than you, somehow you're going to find a loophole where actually it hurts you and it hurts one of your previous teams or one of your previous arguments to make it look wrong. So instead of just sticking to like, oh, it was just points or whatever, let's look at the bigger picture. Let's include more context, like the people you faced and what year this was. And, like Terry said, like how big the squads were at the time and how many subs were you allowed to make at the time, and stuff like that. Let's not rewrite history. Instead, let's be like football people and understand this benefited this generation and this benefited that generation. And at the end of the day, maybe my opinion, this is better than that. Let's not dismiss what people did.
Yeah, it's true. I agree. I'm going to be humble enough. Listen, let me first get the treble. If once I get the treble, then I'll talk. I'm going to be humble. Last year, I made a video of myself here, recording that I was going to release, saying I'm in the final of the Champions League when Mahrez scored. 15 minutes later, I was deleting that from Twitter.
Do you know what that is?
I was so grateful. I was so grateful.
That is the football gods. You don't do it. You don't get ahead of yourselves. And that's what I would say to a lot of people. The more City fans start crowning themselves the king of English football, the more likely the likely it is, in my opinion, it ain't going to happen. There's almost an element of being humble with. I think with the Europa League, Man United got undone. There was almost like an arrogance. Yeah, we'll walk this. It's beneath us. That kind of attitude. I truly believe it. That attitude gets into dressing rooms, because we know this because Jurgen Klopp yesterday told Liverpool fans to stop giving opinions on Liverpool online because they don't know what they're talking about. Clearly, they see what's being said. Things seep into dressing rooms. So stay humble. Stay humble, y'all.
On a lighter note, though, talking about Eric Cantona, I watched a film with him in it yesterday. It's called Actor on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. AKA, it's a French film. I was watching it, and there's a flashback photo. I was like, yo, bro, that ain't an actor. That's flipping a Cantona. And then it goes to the future, and it's flipping Eric Cantona. He's a bad guy. Hey, watch it.
He's been in a few films. I watched him in Finding Eric, which I think was an award.
Oh, Aka, AKA, like AKA.
Okay, AKA.
Yeah.
Is it Aka or is it called AKA?
No, it's there's no dots, so it's Aka.
Oh, okay, right. That's cool. Listen, people, I want to thank everybody for coming on the show today. We're live after Liverpool smash Tottenham, I suppose, is going to be the title in that one. So make sure you're all back for that, people, where we will review that game. And, of course, we'll be reviewing more of today's match. Remember, we're giving away a couple of tickets in our raffle, plus £250 spending money for the Manchester Derby FA Cup final. Scan the QR code on the screen. Go and enter that right now. All my panel, thank you. My super chatters, you are absolutely sensational. Actually, I think I had a few super chats I didn't do. Harry Kane should score. Oh no. As a City fan, Real Madrid scare me with their Champions League heritage. We are not at our best, and I agree with Terry. Let's see what happens first. I don't understand how you can support two teams in your lifetime. I don't even support another team from a different league, let alone rivals like Hamza.
Nabil. This Nabil guy, he digs at me. And Nabil, don't worry, I'm gonna find you out.
Nabil digs at everybody. That's what he lives for.
He can't take it himself as well, which is a really interesting fact.
Listen, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again soon. Peace.